This is Dr.P back with another video. I will be reading the Grinning Man. The gameplay in the background is Call of Duty Black Ops. If you didn't know, it's the multiplayer half. I'm playing against some bots. Let's hope my audio doesn't mess up this time, because the audio on my headphones broke the last recording I did. So let me reread it, I guess. Alright. Detroit has a bad rap when it comes to crime, violence, and drugs. But nothing is worse than having an arsonist plaguing the streets, destroying homes and neighborhoods with a single match. In 2006, an arsonist managed to destroy a library, a school, an apartment complex, and a nursing home within an 8-week period. The police were using evidence resource available to locate the sick firebug, but they never found any clues or suspects in the devastating crimes. 2 months after the last fire, there was a 9/11 call that made the news, as the call claimed that the arsonist in question was about to strike, and sure enough, he did. In the call, you can hear the panicked screams as the residents of yet another apartment complex fled for their lives and tried desperately to put out the flames. But the most startling moment came when the caller began crying out in pain, as he had become trapped in the burning building, the flames scorching his entire body. No one knew what became of the mysterious caller, and it was believed that he had perished in the fire. The building was burned to the ground, leaving almost 100 people homeless. A small memorial was constructed at the ruins of the building in honor of the unknown man who had called 9/11 and saved many lives. The police knew that arsonists loved to return to the scene of the crime, to admire their work and the destruction. Setting up a few surveillance cameras at the memorial, the police painstakingly awaited any suspicious individuals who might stop by. It only took them about 3 weeks to finally locate a suspect. In the footage of the camera, a tall man wearing a black hoodie and a bandana with a skeletal depiction of a human jaw over his mouth approached the memorial and just stared at the charred ruins of the apartment building. He stared for hours, barely moving and never turning his gaze. When another person began approaching the memorial, he suddenly turned away and walked down the sidewalk, out of sight. The man returned night after night for almost a week. Every time he did the same thing, stared at the ruins in awe, and shied away from anyone who approached. Except on the 7th night, a woman was walking her dog and passed by the man. He turned and smiled at her and frightened her to no end. She reported the strange man to the police, claiming that he was grinning wickedly and smelled of gasoline and smoke. 2 nights later, another building was torched by the arsonist. An abandoned warehouse, which still had surveillance cameras running. The same man from the memorial appeared at the scene wearing the same hoodie and bandana. Witnesses to the fire claimed to have seen a man running from the warehouse wearing a dark hoodie. The weird thing was, he seemed to be smiling, a twisted, almost impossibly huge grin on his face. The police were able to pick up a trail using scent tracking hounds. The dogs led the police to a small, rundown house on the outskirts of the city. Inside was a lone occupant wearing the same hoodie. Aside from the arsonist, there were gallons of gasoline, matches, lighters, and newspaper clippings talking about the series of arson set fires. When the police cornered the man and ordered him to the ground, they were horrified by the man's face. He had never been wearing a bandana. His actual jaw had been exposed, leaving him with a perpetual grin burned onto his face. This man had been the one who had called 911 and seemingly died in the blaze. He had been horrifyingly burned but survived. His face, nothing more than a monument to this sickness that is arson. The man laughed a little and looked at the police as he struggled to speak. his lipless grin, mocking everyone who dared to look at him. "It's about time you found me," he arrogantly replied with a hoarse, raspy voice. "I was gonna give you another call. But what's the fun in that?" The grinning man was arrested, but died from a severe infection before he could ever stand trial. Even though he's gone, his actions and crimes will forever haunt the city, leaving scars that will never heal. Okay. So, the Grinning Man. Okay. I think that the Grinning Man, it was a okay creepypasta. This is my first one that I've read, so I don't know how to do this. I'll basically kind of sum it up a little bit. In a quick, way. So what happened was the guy who was the arsonist, he was the guy who called 911 to save everybody's lives, which I'm kind of confused on that. So was he just trying to create chaos? He wasn't actually trying to hurt somebody? I'm glad he didn't hurt anybody, but I'm a little confused on that. Like, why not go all the way out or something? I mean, maybe he just couldn't do murder. Anyways, and then we have it to where he was the arsonist the whole time. The guy who called 911 was the arsonist. That was a little interesting. The first time reading it, I didn't expect it. But yeah. So Dr. Paracelsus signing off. Actually, real quick, if you guys want me to do any more of these, please tell me in the comments. I'm kind of running out of ideas for the channel. Almost. I don't really know what to do here anymore. So if you have any ideas for what I should do, or if you want me to continue trying to read creepypastas, like short little stories to you guys, I'll go ahead and do that. But yeah, anyways, Dr. Paracelsus signing off.